Send in the red shirts.
So we finally got it. Last night, the first of 4 Star Trek short treks debuted on CBS All Access. Now, let me just, before I get into the show itself, let me just say, I don't know what the thinking is at CBS. Because first of all, and I know some of you out there can validate what I'm about to say, first of all, they didn't even let us know what time the shorts were coming on. I had to go on a couple of Facebook Star Trek Discovery fan pages to determine what time it was coming on. Some people said 8 o'clock, other people said 8:30, some said 9 o'clock, some said 9:30. So it turns out that it came on at 9:30, but I don't get the thinking with this. It's like they don't want us to watch these shows. So yeah, CBS All Access, they need to really get their crap together, because none of this, it didn't make a lot of sense why they couldn't tell us what time it was going to air. So anyway, okay, putting that aside. So we had the first short entitled Runaway, featuring Sylvia Tilley. I think she's an ensign. She's not a cadet. I think she's an ensign. And played by Mary Wiseman, played brilliantly by Mary Wiseman. Mary Wiseman is a tremendous actress. She brings a lot to that role. And clearly she's a fan favorite. I think the character is funny. I also think there's some depth and vulnerability there that I like. She's got a great sense of comedic timing. I think she'd be great as a stand-up comedian. I'd love to see her play some all-out comic roles. I think she'd be fantastic. I think it's fair to say that Tilley is the heart of the show. And I don't mean this as a criticism, but I think she is one of the only characters, maybe Saru. Well, yeah, I'll say Saru. But she's one of the only characters that's kind of allowed to be completely three-dimensionally human. Even with Michael, who is a badass heroine, you know, Michael is written very stoic and always having to be very on stage or on it all the time. We never see Michael crack a joke. I mean, everyone at some point has to laugh or make people laugh or be in the presence of, you know, just let their hair down. I don't know if we've ever seen Michael or many of the other characters do that, but with Tilley, I mean, we get what I believe is a real, actual, breathing, living person. Not to say none of the other characters are that way or that I don't like any of the other characters, but honestly, I think Tilley is the heart of the show. Show starts off, I think the production values are fantastic. I've complained a few times that, you know, you could save some of that money and give me more budget so that you can produce more shows in a season. But okay, looks like they doubled down on the visuals even for a 15-minute short. So it starts off interestingly enough. We have Tilley ruminating about the decisions she's made because she's having a conversation with her holographic mom. And that scene kind of rubbed me the wrong way because, I mean, Tilley is a strong character. She's one of the most favorite characters on the show. So if you're going to introduce any type of backstory, particularly if you're going to introduce a parent, I think that introduction, when we first meet her mother, needed to be something that wasn't just relegated to a 15-minute short where the character of the mom is just played as a stereotypical shrewish type of mother who's complaining about her offspring's decisions. If you think of when we meet the parents or family members of any of the other characters from TNG, when we meet Geordi's mom, when we meet Data's mom, or DS9, when we meet any family members like Lwaxana, makes a guest appearance on DS9. And even though we saw her on TNG, she's afforded a pretty meaty presence on screen. Voyager, same with Voyager. I mean, I think when you're going to introduce a character like that, like a mother or a father, I don't think the character really got the due deserved, because that now is canon for if we ever want to do a story on Discovery about Tilley's parents. So now we have canon about the type of person her mother is, and it was just relegated to like a 2-minute, just stereotypical character as a hologram. So I didn't really like that too much. But the story moves on, and it gets interesting because then we meet a new race or a new species, the Zahian female. And when she first comes out of the crate, she's injured. And I don't know how that played into the story uh, after they first reveal that she's injured, other than Tilly sees her blood, and that reveals the Zahian's presence on the ship. But I thought that character looked dope. I loved the design of the character. She was like feral, kind of like wild, growling and hissing. She presented a genuine threat. And when Tilly's trying to communicate with her, I felt suspense that Tilly could be injured or hurt. And then it just all went to hell. The second that the Universal Translator came out and she started speaking in English, all of that was gone. All of that mystery, all of that intrigue, all of that interest just went right out the window. I mean, prior to that moment, this alien, the way the actress played the alien, she was, like I said, she was very wild. The way she moved was very animalistic. She was crouched over like a panther, right? And I mean, and she approached very stealthily, right? But as soon as she started talking English, she sounded like a goth valley girl or something. And all of a sudden, her expressions changed, her body language changed, and she became just another emo teenager. I mean, she literally was a teenager, but all of the interest just gone. And in my opinion, it doesn't really recover from there. The remaining time we have left, maybe the remaining 10 minutes or so, maybe less, it just kind of turns into like a Lifetime after school special. Now let me just say, a lot of the themes they were discussing, that was discussed between Tilly and Poe, her name was Poe, not a very original name to me, because given the Star Wars franchise, but anyway, a lot of the themes they were talking about, not being appreciated for who you are or for your skills, not having your skills recognized or noticed, totally Star Trek themes that Star Trek they've explored, and they can continue to explore. There's no dearth of stories that you can't tell or use that as a theme to tell the story or tell the narrative. And it's been done many times on Star Trek, but they always find a unique way to tell the story, to tell that same story. But when you only have 15 minutes, if you only have 15 minutes, you really got to bring, as far as I'm concerned, you got to bring the action. You can't have the remaining 10 minutes just be a Dr. Phil session between two actors or two characters. It just seemed a little, I don't know, it seemed a little anticlimactic to me. Not only that, but it just seems like they were trying to throw in everything to make the story work, to I don't know, to preach or to, not preach, but they obviously wanted to create a feel-good or a feel-good story, but it was just handled so unwieldy. So we've got this alien teenager who not only, we learn, is a genius engineer, and she's not appreciated for that. But not only that, turns out she's the queen of the entire planet, and she's going back to be coronated as queen. And it's like, wow, it seems like it stretches credibility just a bit. It just sort of came off as an overreach to me, as an attempt for the producers to reach out to a target demo. Maybe that's young women, maybe it's just youth in general, youth culture, in an attempt to ingratiate themselves into the hearts and minds of that target, or to give this message of empowerment, which I don't have a problem with. But again, 15 minutes is not much time to try to preach to me. And while I support that message, I mean, subtlety, sometimes less is more. I have no problem with message-driven narratives, or narratives that try to empower the audience, which is what I think this was trying to do. But you got to remember, you're also targeting me as a Star Trek fan, I would think. And, some of us fans are a little older, we're in our 30s, 40s, and 50s. And we may not identify as much or as heartily with this whole, I'm so put upon, I'm this, I'm that. You know, be it as it may, some of us grew up in an environment where, you know, we play the cards that we're dealt. All right. And that does not mean in any way to say that I don't think we should be in touch with who we are and our feelings and expressing ourselves. But again, in 15 minutes, it might just come off as whining and self-indulgence, especially when it turns out that you're the queen of an entire planet. So it kind of rings a little hollow, the whole thing about, you know, I'm not accepted for who I am, or no one really appreciates my abilities. I get it, but I don't know, you can't have it both ways. So to me, that whole thing came off as just a little bit hollow, a little bit cynical once they reveal who she truly is at the end. And it just kind of slipped in there like, oh, you're the queen of the whole planet. Oh, okay. And it's like everything you just said means kind of, you just diminished everything you just said. There are a lot of people actually in your audience that you may have connected to, and then you have this thing revealed at the end, which kind of makes it ring false or not genuine. So, all right. Anyway, bottom line is I just don't think with the short amount of time that they have, that they used it wisely. I don't think they used it wisely. And actually, ironically, that whole thing, if it hadn't been so ham-fisted and handled a little bit better, it probably would have made for a great B plot on one of the episodes in season 1. Because one of the criticism I've heard is that about season 1 is that, you know, it was all plot and action driven. There was very little of those Star Trek character moments. This would have played well in an hour-long episode because it wouldn't have concentrated so much on the touchy-feely portion of the show. It would have been peppered in with a larger show. Again, I'm thinking of The Outcast in TNG, or The Host, or The Offspring. You know, all of those three shows, and I'm sure there are plenty more. And I apologize for only referencing TNG, but it's the one that I like the most. But those three shows dealt with themes of characters who felt marginalized or ostracized, and it didn't come on as right over the head like this episode did. However, my point is that you put those themes in a show that has 45 minutes to an hour, and there's enough to go around. It's not so heavy, ham-fisted, like I keep saying, in only 15 minutes. I think that was the wrong choice. But I keep talking about the limited time. And again, I'm going to get back on CBS All Access. I'm not really sure of this marketing strategy. I don't know why they are releasing these shorts over a period of months. Why do I have to wait till November 8th to see the next one? What is the plan? If anything, people are probably going to get less interested because, to be honest, for every positive thing I'm hearing about Discovery, there's probably 5 or 6 negative reactions, and these are people that are starting to watch the Orville show, which I still haven't gotten into. So what are you doing? Why are you... This is something that, like, maybe Marvel's, the MCU at Marvel, they would do a series of shorts and put them all out on YouTube. Why not just do that? You put them out on YouTube, put all 4 of them, do 10 of them. You've got the money, clearly. And just put them out you can feed us these morsels, but not just once a month. You know, and we only get 4 of them. I don't get this marketing plan. So we're gonna wait till November 8th. We're gonna see the one. It's called I can't remember the name of it now, but there's a gentleman who awakes and he thinks he's alone on a starship. There has potential. It's a mystery, although it's a character we don't know. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I do hope that these shorts are not like setting us up for storylines that we're going to see in season 2, because as I said, this is not the way to introduce new characters like Tilly's mother or this gentleman who is going to be on the next episode. This is not the way you introduce characters, because you only have a short amount of time and you got to get things done quickly. No. You introduce new characters on an hour-long show where you can develop them. So I hope that once we see these shorts, it's one and done. Well, with Saru, they're going to give us some backstory. But again, I think that's a mistake because I think Saru is a beloved character as well. You shouldn't relegate his anything having to do with his home planet that we're going to see for the first time. It should not be relegated for the first time to a 15-minute short. He deserves better than that. All right. So, bottom line is, the look is there, the money is being put into it. There's potential there. I just don't think they executed in the home stretch with this first short. Too much emo in such a short amount of time. Not saying that doesn't make it valid. Not saying that those themes aren't valid, but they've been done far better. So that's my take. Let me know how you feel, if you think I'm off base. And we're gonna put out more shows. I'm gonna try to get my other red shirts together, and we'll do a group review. But until then, we'll be back again doing it on November 8th. All right, see you then.